So, we're in the home stretch now because we only have 2 episodes left, and it really seems like, what happened in this episode is going to continue on into these last 2, because, you know, there's a certain someone that needs to be rescued. Wonder who that could be. As usual, this video is going to be full of spoilers, so if you haven't watched episode 14, you probably should do that before you watch this video, because if you don't, you're gonna have a bad time. And we don't want that. But before I start to rant, what is up, my dudes, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, what's up? I am one creative ginger, and in this house we have salty takes and emotional rants over fictional media, all while wearing the most amazing makeup you've ever seen in your entire life, and that is a fact. So, does that sound like fun? Well, how about helping a bitch out by clicking that subscribe button, and if you find at least one of your brain cells enjoying at least a millisecond of this video, why not hit the like button too? So, this episode starts off where we see a clone. Kind of looked like Hauser, but it wasn't, obviously. It just kind of looked like him because of the haircut, you know. And there's just this random clone running through a forest, and it's quite obvious that he is being hunted because he's being chased by some like these creepy looking creatures that are like on leashes, and there's other clone troopers or maybe stormtroopers, not really sure, but you know, his own kind essentially. So they're chasing after him for a specific reason, and they eventually catch up to him and you know, stun him, take him out, and then drag him back to wherever they came from essentially. Before they catch him, he places this like distress beacon looking thing on a log. So then we switch over to the Bad Batch, and they end up getting contacted by Rex, who asks them to go help his friend who sent out a distress signal on this planet. Now Rex doesn't say like a whole lot because it looks like he's a bit busy when he's talking to them. So they don't know anything about like what's going on with this random clone trooper. They just know that he's on this planet and he set out a distress signal, and that's literally it. They have no information whatsoever going into this mission. So that's not the best. So when Rex actually contacts the Bad Batch, they're already on a mission that Sid sent them on, so they're kind of like in the middle of this, and they don't really want to go out and save this random reg where they literally have no information whatsoever on how to help this guy. So they're kind of like, we need to eat, so we kind of need to do this mission so we can make money so we don't starve to death, that kind of thing. And usually Omega's the one to like guilt trip Hunter and the rest of them into doing, you know, the right thing and helping people, but not this time. This time it was actually Echo who guilt trips Hunter, and he just has this look that he gives Hunter, which is basically just saying like, hey, remember Skako Minor? Remember when you guys have no idea if I was alive or anything like that, but yet you guys still went in on this literal suicide mission with Rex and just said, fuck it, we're doing that for this guy. I ain't hearing any of that shit. We're doing it. And I was like, all right. He didn't have to say anything. His face said it all, but I was just like, yes, Echo, you get it. You be that bad bitch, right? I loved that look. Goddamn, it was a good one. So Hunter, Tech, and Echo go to scout out this Imperial base while Wrecker and Omega stay with the ship in case, you know, they need backup, that kind of thing. So they do that, and Echo actually does say that like, hey, we should be helping this guy because you guys did the same for me on Skako Minor, that kind of thing. So, you know, we can't just leave. That kind of thing. And I liked that. I like that he said it both in a look and also just outright saying it. I liked that. Then we switch over to Camino, where looks like something big's, you know, being set up, that kind of thing, and we see Rampart tell Crosshair to keep an eye on the Kaminoans since the Empire had like officially stopped all contracts with the Kaminoans, so they don't want clones anymore. And so that makes Rampart a little suspicious that the Kaminoans are gonna like try some sneaky shit, that kind of thing. So he tells Crosshair to keep an eye on them, that kind of thing. And I don't know why Crosshair was still there, because I thought he was supposed to be hunting down the Bad Batch, but like he's not, I guess. It's weird, because yeah, the last time we saw him, he was like, I want to hunt them down, and Rampart's like, okay, go do that. and he's not for some reason. I don't know. Maybe he sent other people to hunt them down. I don't know. Just he's not hunting them down personally, so I don't know. It turns out that Rampart was right to be suspicious because Lama Su tells Nalase to get the clones off-world, essentially. So, like, there's even this scene where they have, like, little clone trooper babies, like the little cadets, so they're still making clones somehow, even though Jango Fett's DNA has been deteriorating, but they're still able to make clones, so I don't know. But, yeah, so one of the little cadets is like, why are we leaving? We haven't even, like, completed training or anything, and Nalase's just like, shut your mouth, we're going. You know? So, yeah, she's starting to get people, or starting to get the clones and just their personnel basically off-world, just away from the Empire, essentially. So I don't know where they're going, but Lama Su told her to get everyone off, because he does want to try to find a different buyer for the clones, because he still wants to sell the clones to someone. Rampart is, yeah, he has every right to be suspicious, because yeah, they are like, we need to find a new buyer and we need to get the fuck away from the Empire, because they're not going to buy our shit, so why should we stick around, that kind of thing. Which honestly makes sense, because yeah, if they're not going to buy your shit, why would you stick around, that kind of thing. But yeah, I was thinking about, like, you know how all the clones kind of look the same now, like at least all the new ones, like when we saw them in the first episode, like they all just look exactly alike, like not even different hair colors or hairstyles or anything like that. Like there's none of that, which makes me think that they had to stop like fucking around with Jango Fett's DNA, because they were talking about how earlier on in the show how the DNA was degrading, and also like clones do have like genetic differences, for example like hair color, that kind of thing, like genetic differences like that. So I think if they fucked around with that a little too much, that degraded it faster probably, and so that's why all the clones and the little cadets as well, they all look exactly the same, because yeah, maybe that doing that makes the DNA degrade a little slower or something. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting thing to think about, because yeah, it's like they still want to make clones. It's just, are they going to keep making Jango Fett clones? Or are they going to find like a different clone DNA source or something if they find a new buyer for clones, that kind of thing? I don't know. Yeah, it's something to think about. Yeah, so Hunter, Tech, and Echo are able to infiltrate and go find the clone trooper that they're looking for, who happens to be Gregor, of all people. Which I honestly thought that, yeah, I would either be him or Wolf, but like in the opening scene, obviously the guy didn't have a scar, so it couldn't have been Wolf, but I don't know, maybe Rex was like in the middle of saving Wolf when he contacted the batch about Gregor. I would like to think that's what he was doing, that he was saving one of his other friends, you know, so I'd like that to be a thing. Yeah, it was nice to see Gregor. Like, it took me a second to realize who he was. It becomes super obvious once you hear him like talk and laugh, because he has just an absolutely distinct, slightly crazy laugh that is just, it's so unique. Like he definitely has a very unique voice, and I really enjoy hearing him talk. He's a fun character, so I'm really glad that he was in this episode and he was the clone that they were saving. So when they're sneaking around trying to get out of this place, Gregor actually comments on their armor, and he's like, oh, you guys like me, that kind of thing, and Hunter's like, no, we're actually CT-99s, which was interesting, and Gregor's like, oh yeah, you're defective then, and I was like, okay, so we're actually getting into like I really want to know more about these guys, because like, what do you mean by defective, for one, and it's kind of implied that there's like this whole batch line of like defective clones, and it's like, I just want to know more about like their backstory and that kind of thing, and like I want to know more about these guys. I really want so bad. But yeah, they of course end up getting discovered, and Gregor gets shot in the chest multiple times, but it's just totally fine. So Yeah, that's a thing. I don't know if it's just he has better armor or something, because he's got that whack-ass clone commando armor, which makes you, like, extra thick. you see these clone commandos, they a little bit thick, so I mean, I guess it makes sense that he'd survive getting shot in the chest and just be totally fine and just walking around like nothing really happened, that kind of thing. So, or maybe he's just crazy, because he's crazy, but like, yeah, I don't know. That was pretty insane to see that happen. Of course, Wrecker and Omega fly the ship to come extract them, because they end up getting stuck on a cliff as they're escaping, so they kind of need that air support, right? But when they're all jumping in, Hunter is the only one that doesn't make it. For some goddamn reason, I don't know why, but he didn't make it. So he tumbles down this cliff. Looks very painful. And yeah, he's just... he's on the floor for a second, but then he gets up like he's totally fine. But of course, he's a little too late to fight or anything like that, because then he's totally surrounded by a bunch of Imperial troopers, so... he can't really do anything, so he has to surrender. And of course, Omega's having none of that shit. And this was a little bit, it hits you right in the heart, right? So she's trying to get everyone to go back for Hunter. She's trying to convince Hunter to order them to go after him, and everyone has their helmets on. No one has their helmets off, so we just see Omega's face. No one says a goddamn word, and they're all just kind of like sitting there just being like, fuck, we kind of lost another one of our own, that kind of thing. So, oh yeah, I loved how we didn't get to see their faces, because you know damn well that they're all just not happy with how this situation went, and how they're all just like, we lost Hunter, and we already lost Crosshair, so it's like, oh, yeah. Painful. That was some painful shit, but they just, they did it in such a specific, sneaky way, and I really liked that. It was just, yeah, it got you. And, damn, Omega too, she was just like, she was not taking that shit. She was like, we're gonna go after Hunter, we gotta do it, and then everyone's like, no, he told us not to, and we're gonna do that, because, you know, their ship is totally fucked. Like, that whole air fight that they went through, their ship was just not having it. So they can't really do a whole lot against a whole Imperial army in this secret mountain base. So they kind of have to get out of there. And of course, they know where Hunter is. He's fine. And they've already infiltrated this place once. So it's not the biggest deal, like, that they'll be fine. They've done it before, they can do it again. So it's like, yeah, it is really painful when you see that scene, but it's at the same time, once you think about it, you're like, yeah, they could just go back after they meet up with, I'm assuming they're gonna meet up with Rex, because he told them to go get Gregor for him, because, you know, I don't know, because, like, what else are they gonna do with Gregor? Like, obviously, you know, they have to go meet up with Rex, so once they tell Rex what happened, obviously Rex is gonna go help them, because Echo's probably gonna give him the face and be like, you did that for me, let's do it for Hunter, you know? Yeah, so we switch back to Camino, where Rampart has caught Nala Se trying to sneak everyone off-world, and then confronts Lama Su about it, because he's like, obviously you're the one who told her to do this. And Rampart's like, well, we do need a scientist, but we don't need a politician. So he basically says, fuck off to Lama Su, and as they're leaving, he leaves 2 death troopers with him. They stay with Lama Su, and then the doors close ominously as they're like around him with like weapons, you know? So we don't hear any like blaster shots or anything like that, so it's kind of implied that he's been taken prisoner. But he could be dead too, because Rampart's like, I don't need a politician, so fuck you, that kind of thing. So who knows if he's alive or not, so that's a little like unclear if he's alive or not, so that's interesting. But yeah, so this episode ends with Hunter in a prison cell, and Crosshair ends up coming up to him, you know, in the cell, and Hunter's like, oh, I was wondering when you were gonna show up, and Crosshair actually deactivates the barrier the prison barrier and is like, yeah, I was hoping the whole squad would be here, but I guess you'll do. And then that's how it ends. So the optimistic side of me is hoping that Crosshair was able to break free from the chip all on his own, and he has like this plan to take down Rampart and maybe like cripple the Empire in some way, and he needs the Bad Batch to help him do that. And he's just being like ominous to be like a dramatic bitch, that kind of thing. They had the dialogue is very specific. It's very interesting how they worded that scene, and it just really seems like, yeah, there could be more going on. It's not just Crosshair's brainwashed and has been trying to kill them this whole time, and, you know, now he's got one of them, that kind of thing. It doesn't really seem like that, you know, because with the end of the Ryloth episodes, seemed like he was planning something, and with how this episode ended with what he said, really seems like he's planning something still. Like, it's just, the wording is specific. There's a reason why he said that. And yeah, I would like to think that he was able to break free from the chip, especially with that head scar, you know. There's no goddamn way that it's not affecting his chip in any way. Like, head injuries are a thing in this show. When Wrecker kept hitting his head, his chip activated, you know. So, you know, why wouldn't Crosshair getting like a scar, like a radiation scar right next to his chip, not deactivate it, right? So obviously, like, and especially since he's become far less violent in these episodes after he got the scar, makes you think that, oh yeah, maybe it did deactivate, but he just pretended to still be under its control, because, you know, what is he can't really like be like, oh yeah, I'm not under the control of the chip anymore, and just expect the Empire to be super okay with that, you know. So obviously he's not going to tell anyone that, so he's just going to pretend to be under their control, but he's going to go back to being very vanilla when it comes to hurting people, that kind of thing. So yeah, I would like to hope that that is what's going to happen in these last two episodes, but if that's not the case and his chip is still working, I hope Hunter kicks his ass, and then Crosshair hits his head, and then that stops the chip from working, and then they escape, you know? I just, if it hasn't deactivated yet, hopefully Hunter's able to, like, literally knock it out of him, that kind of thing. But yeah, so this was definitely a really great episode, and honestly, this is kind of what I was expecting from just the show in general, with, like, the Bad Batch helping Rex save clones that defected from the Empire and now are, like, captured and held in prisons. I thought that's kind of what they were gonna do, and then also kind of be, like, a nuisance to the Empire with, like, blowing shit up, you know, and just being generally very inconvenient for them. And then, like, Rampart would send Crosshair after them to, like, deal with them, like, every other episode or so, you know, that kind of thing, so we'd see more of Crosshair, you know? But, like, yeah, I'm glad we got to see a little bit of what could have been, because this was fun to watch. And we also got to see Echo, like, questioning Hunter's choices and having that kind of drama, because we kind of got that, like, back when they were on Braca. I just kind of wish they argued more and had, like, some more emotion going on, considering they lost Crosshair to the Empire, so, you know, you'd think they'd be a little more sad about that or mad about it. You think you'd see a little bit more than them just, like, completely ignoring his existence until he's literally right in front of them, that kind of thing. But yeah, I just wish this show just had more clone rescue missions, because that was just so fun to watch, and we got to see the Batch just, like, helping their own. It was just really nice to see that, and I think that would have, like, helped them a little bit more, because, like, their whole thing is, like, they don't write, like, regs or anything like that, so wouldn't it be kind of fun to watch them, like, saving a bunch of them? I think that'd be fun. Like, I would have liked to see that, but I'm glad we got to see a little bit of that. I just thought, yeah, it'd be fun for them to, like, rescue other clones, and then they'd set up, like, a rebel clone army. I think that would have been fun to watch. Like, I'm sad that they didn't do that. I feel like, yeah, the show could have been a lot more fun if, like, they were slowly building up, like, this clone army that would fuck around with the Empire. Like, that would have been fun to see. I would have liked to see, like, this random ragtag group of clones that have never worked together before and just kind of forged this like bond and like teamwork kind of thing. Like that would have been so fun to watch, and that was just been really fun. And you know, then they'd save Crosshair eventually, that kind of thing, because they'd have like a big clone army to actually, you know, stand a chance against the Empire, because you know, the whole reason they've never been able to save Crosshair because he's never alone. He's always surrounded by a shit ton of Imperials, so you know, it's a little hard to get to him. So I think if they had been saving clones and then building a clone army, that would have been fun. And then that, yeah, they could have used that to their advantage to save Crosshair and then get his chip out so he could stop being a little bitch, you know. I thought that would have been a fun thing, but I'm glad that we got to see a little bit of that, because that was really fun. And I really liked Gregor in this, because I don't remember him a whole lot from like the Clone Wars, and I didn't like him a whole lot in Rebels. He was just a little off-putting, but like he was really fun in this episode. And I forgot how much I love his laugh. It's insane sounding, but it's great. I just love that. He was a fun character in this episode, and I feel like he might stick around for the next couple episodes. I think he'd have fun saving Hunter and also Crosshair when they realize that he's there too, you know. I think that I hope he stays. And yeah, I'd like to see if Rex was like saving Wolf or was working with Ahsoka and then they come in to help save Hunter as well. I'd like to see that. I'm very excited to see how these last two episodes go. I think it's gonna be, whew, it's gonna be spicy. I think there's gonna be a lot going on, and I hope they get Crosshair's chip out. I hope no one dies, and I hope there's just happy ending, but not so sure about that. You know, don't know if we can be that optimistic. I have a feeling that someone might die, and that someone being either Hunter or Crosshair, so hope that doesn't happen. Hope they both survive, but yeah, it's just, whew. it's a little stressful to wonder what they're gonna do with these last two episodes and how that's gonna go, but it's definitely gonna be spicy, definitely gonna be getting us right there, you know, so that'll be fun. So yeah, that is all I have to say about episode 14 of The Bad Batch. If you guys have any predictions, thoughts, and or feelings about this show, share all that good shit in the comments down below. So thank you guys so much for watching and getting to the end of my video. If you would like to support me, I sell all kinds of art on these 4 sites right here if you all are interested in buying. If you would like to follow me on other social media, I have an Instagram, a Twitter, and a Tumblr if you'd like to stay up to date on my shenanigans. So, if you like this video, why not hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and give that bell a ring if you would like to see more of my face every Saturday when I post a new video. And don't forget to stay sparkly, my dudes!